Seymour Jr. from JDM Engineering. You're here at our shop in Freehold, New Jersey today, where I'm going to take you on a little bit of a shop tour. Show you some of the vehicles we have in the shop and what we've got going on this week. If you want to step out in the shop with me, I'll show you what we got going on right now. Okay, we're out here with Bob Kowalski's 2002 Lightning F-150 truck.
There's Bob over there. I am Bob.
Bob's been a long-time customer of ours. He's had several cars out here to our shop. Has the cars back home in Illinois, but this time he brought out his Lightning truck. We installed a 3.4-liter Whipple supercharger on it this week. He had the Magnum Power supercharger on it previously. Made some pretty good horsepower, about 560 horsepower with that, but he was looking for a little bit more power. So we set the truck up this week with the Whipple. You can see we also retrofitted his shaker hood scoop on the truck as well. We have that made with some custom brackets that Sean, our shop foreman, actually fabricated up for fitment. Came out really nice and clean. This setup right here that Bob has is capable of over 700 horsepower at the tires. Right now on the street tune he's making just about 600 at the tires. That's for a pump gas setup. Pretty much if Bob were to take the truck to the track, he's got himself a mid to high 10-second truck any given day of the week. It's capable of running 9s, just takes a little bit of suspension and fuel components and a little bit of test and tune to dial it in to get those kinds of numbers. With this setup, Bob's heading out back home this weekend. He's got a long drive ahead of him, but it's a very streetable setup, so he shouldn't have any problem making it back and getting good fuel economy to boot. Okay, we're over here on the dyno with Crispin Nystrom's 2008 Mustang GT. Crispin set up this car with a turbo horsepower twin turbo kit. He did a lot of custom fabrication for the parts himself just to make a better installation, a little cleaner installation. Came out really nice. Crispin did an awesome job. He came to us as a reference through David Hance. Most of you know David Hance from the Shakedown at Englishtown events and the 1320X events. He's also got one of the fastest drag radial cars in the country. David Hance is a good friend of ours, and Crispin's a good friend of David's, and between David hooking him up with us, we got the car here now on the dyno. This car is basically set up as a twin turbo, like I said, the turbo horsepower kit. Crispin came to us after having some tune issues. We built a custom tune for him one Saturday. He stopped by the shop, hung out with us for a couple hours, just told us about the car. My father put together a tune really quick, and he went home, put it in the car, called us up the next day, and he just couldn't believe how my father got the tune so close just by talking with him for a couple hours. He figured the best thing to do, since he got it so close, just talking with him, would be to dial it in on our dyno. So Crispin drove down today, got here about noon. We strapped the car down on the dyno after we took off that last Roush Mustang we had, and we're about to start making some pulls on it. With this twin turbo setup, we're not really sure what kind of power level he's going to be at. He's only going to see 7 pounds of boost, or that's what we're expecting. But I'm guessing anywhere between 470 and 500 horsepower at the tires very safely. Now, mind you, this is a stock engine. He does have the bigger fuel components, a 60-pound injectors, a GT500 fuel system, a VMP map housing for the mass airflow sensor. All said and done, if Crispin were to build the motor, he's really got a 700-plus horsepower capable kit here. But he's just looking for a nice, streetable, everyday car that he can have some fun with. He does build a lot of hot rods, so he's used to some speed. This is, like I said, just a street car for him. First thing this morning, we had Kevin Thorne's 2003 Mustang Roush on the dyno. Kevin Thorne's car is a pretty cool setup. Basically, what started out as a 2-valve 4.6 motor was transplanted to a 4-valve 4.6 0304 Cobra motor. He bought a drop-in crate engine assembly, put it in the car himself, along with the T56 6-speed transmission and the twin Cobra fuel pumps, as well as a couple other of the Cobra components, just so everything matched up, put a Cobra computer in it. We sent him a mail order tune, which started the car up and got it running pretty good. He was very happy with the way it turned out mail order, so he figured as well the best thing to do is to come up here for a dyno. So he scheduled an appointment. He made it up here this morning where we spun it on the rollers. Ended up making about 460 horsepower at the tires. Now this is, like I said, just basically a stock 03 Cobra crate engine with an air intake, a pulley, a little bit exhaust, and a custom tune. This is standard for what you would see on any 0304 Cobra, right around 460 horsepower at the tires. His car left with a little bit of a problem on fuel delivery. We weren't 100% sure what it was, but it was probably something to do with the wiring from the fuel system he had installed. So he was going to go over that when he got home, possibly upgrade the fuel pumps, or even to our twin pump fuel system, our high flow JDM fuel system, with the stainless steel braided lines and the twin 05 Mustang pumps. If he were to go to that, he can handle safely over 700 horsepower at the tires. Now it's a stock supercharger, he's not going to go that far, but if in case he ever went to a Whipple or a bigger supercharger, he's got that ready to go and he can handle all the power he needs to make with that bigger blower. Being as my car is Edelbrock supercharged and making a ton of horsepower at the tires, we needed to find a way to plant that horsepower to the ground. So we set it up with a set of Edelbrock lower control arms, an Edelbrock adjustable upper control arm, and an Edelbrock adjustable panhard rod. The Edelbrock lower control arms are a tubular bar that use a nice stiffer rubber bushing up front and a spherical bushing in the rear. These are used to take the hit from all the torque that my car is laying down. Anybody who's laying down 400 or 450 plus foot-pounds of torque at the tires or more could really use these to help harness all their traction. What you get with the stock lower control arms is a little bit of deflection, and the rubber bushings are so soft. The rear end tends to squat and then spring right back up, taking all that weight transfer away from the rear, and you start to spin the tires. Sometimes it can lead to tire chatter or what's known as wheel hop even. What we did to help those lower control arms out was we made a set of custom relocation brackets to drop the lower control arm mounting point down off the rear about another 1.5 inches. This gives the lower control arms a slight angle for better traction results. We also have an aluminum single-piece drive shaft in the car, so we fit it with the adjustable upper control arm so we could change pinion angle. My car's also lowered with Saline lowering springs, and a lot of times when you lower these cars, you drop the rear end down, and the rear end shifts over just slightly towards the driver's side. So the adjustable panhard rod is going to help straighten that out. Now with all these components on the car, my car should hook up better at the track and see much better 60-foot times. The last time out at the track, I was in the high 1.4s. The car was running 10.1s at almost 130 miles an hour. With a new torque converter and this new suspension, the car should be in the high 1.3 60-foots, and we should be looking at solid 970, 980 ETs at that point. Okay, that's it for this week's episode at JDM Engineering. Appreciate everybody for stopping in. If you have any questions about the parts or the vehicles you saw this week, you can call us anytime at 732-780-0770 or check us out on the web at teamjdm.com.